Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. Okay, so this tag was created by a creator who I don't think is on YouTube anymore. I know her name is Brenda. If I find the original video, I will tag it below. But if not, then I will just tag the Booktube wiki, which has the questions on it, which is where I'm reading this from right now. Okay, so the first question is, why did you start this channel? And that's twofold. Number one, I have a Bookstagram. It's okay. I'm terrible about posting pictures of books. I hate reviewing books in that format. I would much rather talk about it. So hello YouTube, perfect place for that. I also am a little long-winded, so reels don't really work super well for me. I usually do the short ones. It's like, what's this person reading right now? And you show like the cover, because that's what you're getting from me. That's what we're giving, and it has to be enough. Okay, has to be enough. So I wanted a space to talk about books, obviously. Love video editing, thought it'd be a good time. Question 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? I don't know. Honestly, I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. I think one of the things that sometimes people miss is less curated videos and just something that's just very, generic in here. It's just me, my bookshelves, and I'm talking to you, and that's all I got. So maybe the fun, unique thing is my personality. I don't know, you tell me. Question 3 is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? Honestly, to stretch myself a bit, to grow, maybe to try out some new things. I tend to read a lot of the same genres, so I am hoping to kind of branch out. And I say hoping, I'm planning to branch out. I actually have a couple books in my TBR for April that are very much outside of my comfort zone that I mentioned in my April TBR. So I'm excited to get to those. And so I think that's what Booktube's gonna do. It's gonna stretch my reading life. Why do you love reading is question 4. And honestly, I just do. I always have. If I can find it, I will literally insert this photo of my grandmother reading to me when I'm a literal toddler. I might still be an infant, who knows. I've been being read to since I was like in utero, so like it was this or nothing, right? Like, I mean, how else does, how do you avoid that? After that much reading happening to you and it being a part of your daily life as a child, like, you're gonna be a reader or you're going to loathe reading, and I happen to be lucky in that I'm a reader. And it's always been a hobby of mine, even in times when I haven't like loved reading, I should say. Like, when you're like maybe middle school, high school, and you're like, you don't mind reading, but you get like a ton of school required reading and it's not your favorite. I still was seeking out other bookish things at that time, so reading's always been a part of my life. Question 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? Again, nothing in particular, because I've literally been read to since I was a child, and I would go to the library after school or on weekends, especially if it was gonna be a rainy Saturday. My grandma would take us to the library, we'd pick up Chinese food, and then we'd go home and we'd read our books that we got, and we'd eat Chinese food and like watch movies while it rained, and it was ooh, immaculate vibes. Thank you, Nana. Ooh. So glad that we had that. So I don't really have a particular book or a series that got me into reading, but I will share some of my childhood faves. Junie B. Jones and Ramona Quimby, those were my queens. Those were my girls growing up. Loved their books. I really enjoyed, obviously, The Hunger Games when that came out. I think I was in middle school when that came out. Maybe early high school. I don't know. I feel like the postmodern, like utopia, maybe not even utopia, what's the word I'm looking for? What is that, like the end of the world? That's called something. What's it called? Dystopian. I said utopian. Dystopian. So like when the dystopian thing happened, that was great. I loved the series by She Who Shall Not Be Named. Obviously, we just let that go at this point. I don't know, there were other things. I will say, when I was growing up, YA was like, you either got sci-fi or you got shitty contemporary that was like, well, I'm not like other girls, and I was never that bitch. So catch me 13 stealing my mom's James Patterson's, reading those by flashlight underneath the sheets, when I'm supposed to be asleep, and got me hooked on like Law and Order and true crime. So I guess Jamie P gets some credit there for, fueling me until I got to like, oh, I'm actually allowed in the adult section of the library, because those bridge years between like child and adult, it got a little rough in there. and it was mostly because of the lack of selection, if we're being very honest. So that is, I guess, a series that got me into it, specifically the Alex Cross series. I devoured those. I came in like mid-series though, which is weird. I don't know if my mom had already read like the beginning ones. There's like Along Came a Spider and all of those, but I came in with like the book that's just called like Alex Cross and just went from there, which is fine, honestly. You don't really need to read the full backstory. Like you're not missing a ton because he does recap kind of in the beginning, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought about that. That's kind of weird. It came in mid-series, and now I'm the kind of girl who cannot come in mid-series for anything. Even romances where you technically don't have to read them in order, I still read them in order. Maybe I'm traumatized. Maybe that's what happened? I don't know. So let's move on to question 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I would ask Kayla from Books and Lala, like, bitch, where do these ideas come from? Her brain? Ma'am, what's going on in there? Can I have like 2% of that? Just 2%. I don't think I could handle all of that. There's a reason I'm a Taurus and you're an Aries, okay? But the ideas, they just, I don't see anyone else doing it. I don't. Kayla's a unicorn, and honestly, we stand. So question number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Honestly, the hardest thing for me was not only doing it, but doing it consistently, and I feel like I'm kind of beating that right now. This is, with this video coming out, I think I will have posted a video almost every week, and then one week I doubled up, so like, consistency is the hardest part, honestly, because it's not really that big of a deal for me to turn on a camera and talk to it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I grew up in the age where vlogs started, and so, you know, as I was going off to college, I started a Tumblr about my college journey because, yikes, I am that old. Before Tumblr was, you know, porn and, I don't know, song lyrics you want to tattoo on your ribs. I don't know. A very different age. It was mostly, I'm going off to college, teensy bits of porn, a little bit of like, am I gay? Am I bi? Am I pan? Who knows? No one knows. And then like vacation spots. Like, I don't know. That weird era of Tumblr from like 2008 to like 2012. That time. Why was I talking about Tumblr? Oh, the hardest part for me to overcome. Yikes, a tangent. But basically, after you were done talking to your phone and or computer and or, you know, your MacBook screen, you just put it up there. And so, if you can overcome that level of cringe, you can start a YouTube channel. That's all I'm saying. Once you overcome that, you can do anything. When did you start reading? I kind of talked about this. I started reading before I could read. As in, I was being read to a lot. I started reading at like age 3, I think. And I haven't stopped since. Where do you read? This is an interesting question. It used to be that I always read in bed or I always read on my couch. And now I find that, actually I still read on my couch a lot. I do a lot of audiobooks and I crochet a lot. Mostly because I don't know what it is about physically reading books. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It makes me so sleepy. Like, unless someone's getting stabbed or something, if like, especially because I love like hard-hitting literary fiction, contemporary fiction. I love lyrical writing, so if I'm sitting on the couch reading that, and especially because, so that I'm not doing this and like hunched forward to save my 31-year-old neck, I lay on the couch, and so obviously I'm just asking to go to sleep at that point. So I read a lot of audiobooks. So because I read a lot of audio, I also do that while I'm driving. I drive a lot for work. Doing anything, walking my dog who's, you know, asleep on the bed right now, looking real cute. I know, I talk about you. So, you know, anywhere and everywhere I can. Sometimes if I'm in line at the grocery store waiting on self-checkout, we'll whip out my phone and the Kindle app, start reading. Don't care. We'll do it anywhere. What kinds of books do you like to read? I kind of talked about it a little bit. Love a hard-hitting contemporary fiction. I just heard that Celeste Ng has a new book coming out this fall. I'm very excited. I absolutely loved, what was it called? Not Little Fires Everywhere, the other one. The first one was my favorite. Everything I Never Told You. That book broke me. Incredible. Loved it. Little Fires Everywhere was good, but it just wasn't as good as that first one. And I don't know if it's because we were all just like thirsting for that quality of writing or what, but shit slapped. It was incredible. I also like really enjoy romances. I found that historical romances have become a fave, but I like contemporary ones too. They just can't be too cheesy. Shout out to the Chloe Lee series for just being immaculate. Great vibes. Great vibes. Let's see, I think we have one last question left. We do. What does your book collection look like? Well, let me just take you on a tour. It's very weird and very abstract. I went through a period of time where I was kind of getting rid of some books and like changing what I kept. Unfortunately and slash fortunately for me, almost everything on my shelf right now is either unread for the most part. So obviously we start with Mom and Dad, Barack and Michelle Obama. Have a Steve Jobs autobiography. I have Only Plane in the Sky by Garrett Graff, which is about 9/11, and I bought it thinking I was going to be able to read it, and then I was really triggered because my grandpa was supposed to be flying United 93 because the pilot who was there backed out. He was supposed to be the backup pilot. My grandmother decided to schedule their move from Florida to Texas for that week, and she's like, you know I'm not moving cross country by myself. Or was it the other way around? No, yeah, Florida to Texas. And he said, okay. And he called and he's like, I gotta switch with somebody. I'll be back up next week. So my grandpa's alive because they moved. And that's kind of crazy, but I'm here for it. This is also kind of like the autobiography shelf, as you can kind of tell from the theme here. So I have Cecily Tyson's Just As I Am. Haven't started that yet. Nor have I started Stanley Tucci's Taste. And part of this is because he reads the audiobook himself, and so now I'm like, well, I gotta listen to the Tooch. And it's not available for me right now. The library hold is crazy, so waiting on that. So yeah, more nonfiction. This section I actually am trying to dive into. I read Hood Feminism already. You can see that. Lots and lots of tabbies. And I want to do the same thing for In the Dream House, Carmen Maria Machado. I've heard such good things about it. Just like her overcoming a domestic situation. Disability Visibility, I've been reading like a chapter out of like once a week, so I'm slowly making my way through this. I feel like it's very similar to Hood Feminism, where if the things that are talked about in it aren't things that you experience in your daily life, like you get so engulfed and ingrained into the chapter that you can't really just read it fast. So like I've been reading it like short story by short story. And then down here kind of continued that, and then we get into Brene Brown's Make Me a Bad Bitch section, Just Mercy from Bryan Stevenson, and then we just have a hodgepodge. Notes on an Execution, one of my favorite reads of 2022. Incredible, 10 out of 10 recommend. And then I have Raybearer by Jordan Refreco. Absolutely loved it, loved the follow-up too. I need to order a copy of that. Haven't read Leave the World Behind yet. This is where I get kind of like the mystery thrillers that I haven't read. Actually, there's a random romance here, who knows why. Also in My Dreams I Hold a Knife, I need to read. I just read her romance that just came out, and it was so, so good. 10 out of 10 recommend. Alice Feeney, we gotta talk about Low Life, my fave, yearly reread, about to come up. My birthday's this weekend. Is that a time to read it? Maybe, I don't know. I don't mind being sad. And then we have what little YA I have. I love that all of these people are friends. Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Tiffany D. Jackson, and another Nick Stone. Nick Stone separated here because it's paperback, but I need to put it together because there's hardbacks right here. Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. Let's see, The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta is in here. Camp by Elsie Rosen. Don't Shoot Me, I have not read the Heartstopper series yet. I'm waiting for them to, I think I'm going to read through this one and then try and get the rest at my bookstore, or not my bookstore, I'm sorry, my library, because I have a feeling I'm going to want to devour all of them at the same time. Down here, we have two very, very different series. Neither have I read. Well, I take that back. I read the first one in the Expanse series. I have the first 4 books here. I read the first one, just got the other 3 in the mail, so I'm going to make my way through those. I also am debating reading these this weekend. It's the Gilead series from Marilyn Robinson, and it honestly just sounds right up my alley. But I feel like I need to be able to sit down and just read all 4 of them back to back to back. And I have a 3-day weekend this weekend, so I think I'm going to try doing that. Up here are all the books from the last time I had a Book of the Month subscription. I have only read like 2 of them. because as I was finishing them, I was either giving them to other people to read or putting them in little free libraries and stuff. So now these are just the ones I have that are like kind of backlist. More mystery thrillers. I actually am really excited to read The Turnout by Meg Abbott. And then I haven't read anything by Lauren Groff, so I really want to read The Matrix. And then down here, I have some romances. Red, White, and Royal Blue, iconic, absolutely loved it. I have If I Never Met You by Mahiri McFarlane. Incense and Sensibility by Sonali Dev. I love that this entire series are all plays on Jane Austen stories, and I absolutely love Jane Austen, so I have a feeling I'm gonna love this. But I don't think this is the first one in the book. I got this from a friend, or first one in the series, and I got it from a friend, and so obviously like I wasn't gonna be like, no, I don't want it, because I am very interested in this, but like I said earlier, have to read everything in order. Let's see what else is here. Mexican Gothic, very much outside of my comfort zone. Can't wait to read it. Loved If We Were Villains. I didn't think I would love it as much as I did, if I'm being honest. I knew it was going to be good in general and that I would like the story, but that was kind of almost a 5-star read for me, with the exception of a few things that happened. Red at the Bone, definitely a 5-star read. We love Jacqueline Woodson in his house. No one can take you on a ride like Jacqueline Woodson. This book is only like 200 and something pages. Not even. This book is not even 200 pages. When I tell you this felt like a 400-page saga in the quality and depth of the story, while flying by, I read this in one sitting in the afternoon, and it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. If you've not read any Jacqueline Woodson, could not recommend starting with Red at the Bone enough. And then after that, we have Beth O'Leary's The Road Trip. I have read her first 2 books. Haven't read this one. Need to read it ahead before the 4th one comes out. They're not like a series or anything. She just has a 4th book coming out. I've heard incredible things about Sharks in the Time of Saviors, and so I just kind of bought it on a whim when I saw it, and I'm obsessed with the cover. I know this is a book I feel like I'm going to need to be in the mood for some in-depth, lyrical, magical realism. And then we have an ode to Alice Oseman, who somehow, much like Heartstopper, have yet to read anything from her. But I heard such rave reviews about these from some of my favorite booktubers. Ooh, I'm going the wrong direction. There we go. So Radio Silence, we all know Kat from Paperback Dreams is a Radio Silence hoe, and I kind of need to see what the fuss is about. Loveless, both Gabby from Gabby Reads and Katie from Katie Colson obviously love this. And I personally am trying to figure out if I'm asexual, so that's fun. And they both said that they felt like they were being read on the page, so maybe I should figure that out sooner than later. And then these two, Book Talk and Booktube faves, Song of Achilles and Circe by Madeline Miller. I have never been more intimidated to read 2 books despite being told that they are accessible in my entire life. And then lastly, not lastly, but lastly for this shelf, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I'm not a horror hoe. I have never been a horror hoe. Will I become one? Maybe. I am debating on adding this to, I'll bring these up here. I have these 2 books, Misery and Nosferatu, on my Spring Fling O'Ween TBR right now, because what better way to read horror than from Stephen King and his son. But Nosferatu is a thick bitch. Don't let this fool you. This thing is almost 700 pages. So I think I'm going to move this over here and do these 2. Because it's only like, it starts on a Thursday and ends on a Monday, I think, and realistically I'm only going to be able to read Saturday, Sunday, and like Friday night. I mean, I can read at work, kind of, but not really. And I don't know if I want audio for either of these. I've heard these are both best experienced by physically reading the page. So we'll see how that goes. Down here, more just random shit. Random shit. Probably The Orange Tree, still haven't read it. Need to read it. I hear it's Dragons and Queer People, which what more could you want? Through the middle here, oh, another queen that we have to stand, Jesmyn Ward. This book is heavy as fuck, but it is immaculate. Immaculate. It's a magical realism with some ghosty boys and a prison. Really good time. We have the classic shelf, starting with Toni Morrison, Working Our Way Across, Louisa May Alcott, Daphne du Maurier, Charlotte Bronte, Arthur Conan Doyle, Charlotte Bronte. Well, I just said Charlotte Bronte. I was thinking Emily. Emily's over here. Emily's over here. And then lots of Jane Austen and John Conrad. So, or Joseph Conrad. Why did I say John? So that is my shelf, and I guess the end of this tag. I look forward to seeing you guys in another video soon. Would love to hear your ideas or any other tags that you guys have enjoyed watching in the past. Leave those down below along with the link if you've got them, or just the name, something like that. And I'll take a look at them and see if I can answer any of the questions. Some of the ones that people have shared with me in the past have been really genre based, and it's like genres I don't read, so I'm like, I have no content for this, I'm sorry. So we'll see what happens with that, and until then, I'll see you in another video soon. Goodbye.